Hello everyone, welcome to update video 9.4 of Son of Nature. In this video I will be showing you the progress that I made in the last 2 months. During the last 2 months I also had a vacation and did some upgrading to my development setup. I now have a dual monitor setup with true 1080p resolution, so from now on Son of Nature videos will be truly in HD. I've also upgraded to Windows 10. The main focus of this update will be the new item editor, which I will show you in a minute. But first I'd like to show you some other stuff. To start off, I've done a slight update on the crafting editor. I've implemented an if node, which looks like this in the editor, and this is useful in certain circumstances. For example, if you want to split logs into firewood. You can use an axe like on the left, but if you don't have an axe, you can use your knife plus a branch like on the right. But when using a knife, you first need to select what branch you wish to use, and you need to display different items in the player hand. And you also need to play different animations. So when using such an if node, you can go to different routes through the crafting recipe. I would also like to show you the new player model. This is how he looks like without clothes. In the game you will see mostly with clothes on. I did not create this model. I have bought it off the asset store using the money from the donations. I decided to buy a model because I'm really bad at texturing humans and I couldn't do it myself. I did add the shorts to the texture. Currently it has only 3 animations. I will create more. A lot of time has gone into this model since I'm now using Mechanim, and that requires a specific type of rig. But the weights of the bones seemed to mess up each time I imported it and I ended up making around 4 different types of rigs. But after a while I discovered it was a quality setting in Unity that messed up and I wasted a lot of time. I've also taken the time to properly tweak all of the image effects, so now Son of Nature is using much more of the power of Unity 5. I hope you can notice. And now over to the most important part of this update, the item editor. The layout is pretty similar to the crafting editor start screen. You have a tree view on the left and the item details on the right. Currently I have 4 basic item categories: miscellaneous, edibles, tools and clothes. Every category has some unique variables, but they all have the same basic variables like size and weight. I will hopefully show the edibles and clothing specific variables in the next update when they actually do something. The editor itself is pretty self-explanatory, but I will show you the most interesting things. Every item in Son of Nature is equipable. This means it has to have an instance in both of the player hands. Every item also needs to be able to be dropped, so it needs a prefab with the item linked to it. With this new editor, all of this is taken care of in just one click. I just need to fill in this object field with an item model and press this button. It then automatically creates the left and right hand items as well as the prefab. You can then tweak the positioning of the items in the scene view if necessary. The generated prefab automatically has a rigid body, a capsule collider and an item loot script attached to it. You can now see how it will probably look when this model is used as the real player. You can press this button to automatically go back to the item details and edit them further. Because metal can't really absorb water, it would be illogical for a frying pan to be able to be 100% wet. That's why every item has a so-called moisture type. This will prevent items such as pans to get wet and because of that increase weight. The next cooked item is an enum variable that holds another item. This will allow every item to be thrown into a fire. For example, a fish will have as the next item a roasted fish, while the roasted fish will have burnt food as the next item. Here you can edit the size of the item and preview the icon. When clicking the toggle icon button, you can switch between the currently selected icon and the applied icon so you can compare them. And instead of a banana, Son of Nature uses a can of beans for scale. The modifications, which I promised in the last update, are now implemented. They exist of a list of requirements, a list of actions and a list of results. They are meant to be executed from within the inventory to do basic modifications to items such as sharpening. For more difficult crafts, you will use the crafting system. These branches already have modifications added to them. First I will clean the branch of any side twigs and then I will sharpen it. Notice how the animations are played on the new model and the results are spawned in the same bag. You can also modify items in your hand and on the ground near you. Used items will automatically be displayed in the hands, such as this knife and the branch. Actions are things you can do when the item is equipped. Currently only tools have actions. I'm thinking about making actions basic variables so that you don't need a frying pan to be a tool in order to whack a tree with it. Please notice that I haven't had the time to study Mechanim enough to properly set up the animations, and because of that the transitions are a bit ugly. Each item saves its own last selected action. So when you drop an X while having chopping selected, it will still have chopping selected when you pick it up. The last thing I want to tell you about is the XML serialization as seen on the green and blue buttons below. It is pretty boring to show you, so just take my word that it works. I will use this so I can easily transport and save single items between locations. So what will I work on for the next update? I will first make sure that all of the previously shown items get implemented in the system. After that I will animate the player some more and research mechanism, so I can use the new model as the controller. Then I will include a patching system so updates will automatically be distributed without all the emails. And after that I will release a new version to the donators that is finally more or less playable. Then I will start on the player vitals so items can be eaten and clothes can be equipped while having effect on the player body temperature. That was it for this update video. I hope you enjoyed it and thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you like Son of Nature, and I hope to see you in the next video.